Friends and colleagues, do you truly believe that there is one simple exercise that can make you slimmer and significantly improve your metabolism? It's very easy. You can do it right in bed. It will feel quite pleasant. And after doing it, you'll sleep much better and feel better overall. And in general, all tomatoes. It doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, but the experience of my hundreds of students has shown that such an exercise exists, and today I'm going to show it to you. The exercise is very simple. Here we have a model, and what does the model do? She lies comfortably in bed, slowly pulls her knees up to her chest, and securely locks her hands together. And in this exact position, our model stays for a duration of between 1 and 3 minutes. And that's the whole exercise. How does it work? The very first thing we need to notice is that whenever we pull our knees all the way up to our chest, we often start to have quite a bit of difficulty breathing.
Yes.
You might find it's a bit harder to breathe. Now, why exactly is that? Because this practice is aimed at, to put it simply, we basically squeeze the abdominal organs, and as a result, they have nowhere to go. So the body is actually forced to relax and stretch the diaphragm, the main breathing muscle in our body. When it's shortened, everything is bad. When it's relaxed, everything is good. Right now, I think that gradually, your breathing is becoming much freer. Not immediately and not quickly, but breathing becomes freer and more natural. A very important point to consider here is that the more often your diaphragm is relaxed, the easier it becomes for it to stay relaxed. So if you do it even just once, the overall effect will be quite good and very significant. However, if you consistently perform this practice, for example, every evening for a full month, your body naturally develops the habit of keeping the diaphragm relaxed. The second fascinating benefit is that you are again compressing the intestines. And the great thing about the intestines is that there should be increased pressure inside them. Biochemical and circulatory processes in the abdominal cavity work much more effectively when the intestines are in a properly compressed state. This leads to the excess lymph being squeezed out. This results in our metabolic processes working better. A lot of things work better in the intestines when we compress them. So right now we have deliberately compressed the intestines.
How long should you lie like this? I really want to lose a lot of weight. I'm ready to lie in this position for half an hour. Is that okay?
Well, about 3 minutes.
Wait.
3 minutes of your time every evening. Or if you are not taking it quite so seriously, then 15 minutes. Also won't be too hard and it's not bad at all. But you must definitely check how your lower back feels. You should feel only pleasant sensations. If you start to feel tired, if your legs begin to go numb, if your legs start to get cold, if you experience an emotional reaction, or maybe even burping, that's a sign that you've overdone it. Remember, if you overdo the dosage, your body will start to resist and the result can turn from positive to negative. So start with 3 minutes, stay at 3 minutes for about a week, and if everything feels fine, you can increase the exposure. The very next thing this practice does is help to gently stretch the lower lumbar region of the spine. We have lordosis in the lumbar region. This is not a diagnosis, it's normal physiology. Most people, 80% of people, have a problem called hyperlordosis. When the belly sticks out like this, the pelvis is pushed forward. And accordingly, when we pull our legs up like this, toward the chest, we get a slow stretching of the lower back, a reduction of hyperlordosis. And in the long term, this is something that will allow you to reduce or even completely eliminate herniated discs. Herniated discs usually protrude in the anterolateral direction. And right now we are stretching the structures that push the hernias out and stimulating the growth of structures that will return the hernias to their place. And finally, the last thing I'll mention, though it's not the least in terms of benefit, is that right now the lower limbs are being relieved of stagnant blood. In other words, we are in an inverted position. This is essentially an inverted pose. Inverted poses are wonderful because the blood, which is usually forced into the legs by gravity, now flows out of the legs. And when the body periodically relieves the blood vessels of the lower limbs from blood, it is very beneficial as a prevention of swelling, as a prevention of cellulite, and as a prevention of varicose vein disease. In short, all of this is very beneficial. And probably the last thing I'll say, look, of course, there's always the natural urge to just grab hold and pull hard, making an intense effort to bend your body, but instead, You choose a level that feels completely comfortable. Clasp your hands together and simply lie there. Then, at some point, you change the position of your hands and just continue lying there. Notice that it's not as comfortable in the other direction, not as comfortable. And our goal is not to strengthen what already feels comfortable, but to pay attention to those areas where we feel less at ease, to breathe deeply and to relax. And this practice is remarkable because we're not forcing ourselves to do something or trying too hard. Instead, it's about bringing the body into a natural physiological position and allowing the body to heal itself.
How does this help you lose weight? Explain. I don't get how we're losing weight.
The first aspect of the process of slimming down your body is that when the diaphragm relaxes, the waistline naturally decreases in size because the belly flattens. Conversely, when the diaphragm is tense, our stomach inevitably begins to stick out. As soon as the diaphragm begins to expand and stretch, the stomach is naturally pulled inward. Also, when the pressure inside the intestines increases, the intensity of metabolic processes improves. That is to say, your food is digested better.
Is this done on an empty stomach or how?
Well, it is generally better to take it on an empty stomach in the sense that you won't get burping. Ideally, of course, wait approximately 1 hour or an hour and a half after we've eaten. That's it. And once again, the pressure inside the intestines actually begins to shift digestion away from the storage of fat and toward energy production. Because the better the food is digested, the more of it is converted into energy. Furthermore, it is important to note that whenever we are lying down in this specific position, lymph flows down from the legs into the pelvis and directly into this abdominal area. Our legs swell up whenever there is a significant amount of fluid stagnation occurring, and the body naturally dumps toxins into the surrounding fat tissue. In other words, cleansing stagnant lymph leads the body to purify the blood, so the body doesn't need to have cellulite and fat. That's it. And of course, stretching the lower back. Stretching the lower back significantly enhances the function of the muscles in your legs and thighs, so your body will be able to handle physical stress better. And in just 3 minutes a day, you will get truly noticeable results. Yes, you'll have to spend a few weeks on this. It would be great if you include this practice in your daily routine. Friends, it's strange to record this message because in my native language, Russian, I have about 2.5 million subscribers. These are people who are genuinely interested in the human body, in how, with the help of hands and simple breathing and meditative techniques, you can bring the body to its best possible state. I see how much the knowledge I share helps Russian-speaking people, and it's important to me to bring this knowledge to people all over the world as well. So please subscribe and give a like so that others can also join in and access this very valuable information.